Welcome to This Is the Place, brought to you by We Own This Town, where we discuss the ever-growing and shrinking restaurant and bar options here in Nashville, Tennessee. With me today, as always, is Michael Leeds. How are you, man?
I am well. You didn't even introduce yourself.
I didn't. My name is Matt.
Hello, Matt.
How are you?
I am well. Glad to be on the show again.
Yeah, welcome back. It's a new year. We're moving forward.
You know, by the time people hear this, there'll be a whole new administration.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. It's such a bizarre time right now. But one thing is great is a new administration. That is for sure.
Yeah.
So how was your holiday?
My holiday season was good.
Yeah.
I did a lot of quarantining before Christmas.
Yeah.
And then actually spent it with my family. Tried to,
Uh-huh.
super safe.
Right.
Did the 2 weeks ahead of time. But really, the most fun I had was New Year's.
Okay.
Where I got a to-go package from Mother's Ruin that we've discussed here on the show.
All right.
It was like 4 of their specialty cocktails, some pimento cheese,
Yeah.
and like a basket of fries, and a bottle of champagne. All of that
Nice.
to go,
Uh-huh.
and just got smashed at my house.
I like it.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's great. We tried to go to Mother's Ruin last month in December, and the wait was just too long for out back.
Yep.
We could have gone in and hung out inside, but just
Sure.
weren't feeling it. So we passed on that.
Yeah, I highly recommend outdoor.
But
But there's only like 6 tables.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it was a decent amount. It's not like super small, but yeah, I haven't been in the back area, so if it's only 6 tables or not. I thought it was more than that. But
I mean, they're like big picnic tables.
Yeah,
but
okay.
it's
I guess that's
still
what it is.
limited.
Yeah. We for New Year's, we actually had a really probably better time on New Year's than we did on Christmas as well. I mean, Christmas was great with the kids and all, but we were planning on Zooming with all my other relatives. Obviously did not happen because there was no internet service.
Yeah.
Due to terrible thing that happened downtown.
Yeah.
There's just so much terrible shit. I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah.
There's no point.
It's a fresh slate. Let's have a fresh slate for once. You know?
Yeah, I like it. So we had a Zoom party on New Year's with family,
Cool.
in different cities, and it was a lot of fun. But we got a New Year's package from Cafe Roze, and I know we've talked about it in episodes past. The Cafe Roze in East Nashville, I believe they do have one. I think it's opened in Belmead now as well. And just really one of our go-tos. Great. Always good to eat there or order out, which we did. And tell you what we got real quick. Have you ever... Well, let me ask you something.
Please.
Do you like hummus?
I love a hummus.
Do you like avocado? Then you will love the avocado hummus. Have you had their avocado hummus?
Man, I feel like I have. And I got a tingling of a memory that's very positive.
I mean, holy shit.
Those are 2 mushy things that may not mix well together. But it sounds like they do.
You would think, maybe not mixing well together. But you would be wrong.
Okay.
You would be very wrong.
All right.
They mix excellent. They're really, really good. It was probably one of the highlights of the food that we got from there. So it is obviously avocado with hummus, and it has pepitas, which is pumpkin seed.
Okay.
And chermoula, which is traditionally a North African marinade relish. You see it more in like fish or seafood and vegetables, but it's out of like Libya or Morocco flavored areas. But it was amazing. I mean, it came with some really good bread. You can tell it is fresh because if you have to eat it in one sitting. If you put it in the fridge, it starts to turn brown like real avocado does.
I want to share a theory with you.
What's that?
If something has pumpkin seeds in it, it is great. That's my theory.
Really?
I love it when people just sprinkle a pumpkin seed in a thing. It just adds, they do have flavor and they have like a nice texture that gets added into things.
Right. Any specifics to back up that theory that you can off the top of your head?
No.
Yeah.
No, none whatsoever. I just have a vague memory of having pumpkin seeds in multiple different items at various restaurants throughout my multi-decade life, and they've always been good.
Always pleasant.
I've never been disappointed by a pumpkin seed being added to a dish.
The magic of a pumpkin seed.
Yeah.
The secret weapon. I can go with that.
I'm waiting to be disproven.
Yeah.
You know?
I will continue to search, and if I find something, I'll let you know. And if it's disagreeable, I will definitely let you know. But I think you got.
If you come in here one week and say, I had a dish with pumpkin seeds in it, and the pumpkin seeds made it disgusting.
Yeah.
Then something was already wrong with that dish.
It was not the pumpkin seed.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I think.
I like that theory. I can go with that.
You know, this show is all about making wild statements with very little evidence to back it up.
Completely anecdotal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is the world we live in.
It is.
We're talking about fresh slates.
It is.
As I head into 2021, I'm embracing just personal experience as anecdotes equals fact.
Oh.
That's my new thing.
I like it.
No, I do not like it. No. Not a fan.
Well, yeah. If you see where it leads to,
yeah. Oh,
not so good.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. So Cafe Roze, what else do you get there?
So we got the green goddess salad, which is just, it's a great salad. And, the pork schnitzel.
A schnitzel?
A schnitzel.
Is that new?
No, it's standard. I think that was like when it first opened, I think that was the first thing I actually had there. And what makes it great, talking about, these little add-on side things within the overall main dish, red cabbage and pickled beet. It is really, really good. And the thing that, I'm a little surprised about is that they haven't made this like some sort of vegetarian dish, because it really reminded me, and I think I mentioned this several episodes back, about the first time I ever had a true vegan experience in New York.
Yeah.
And it was either a schnitzel or a chicken parmesan, and it was made with tempeh. And it was very, I think that Cafe Roze should do a vegan schnitzel. And I think...
You won't hear any disagreements from me on that.
Yeah, because I mean, they know what they're doing when they're putting their ingredients together and how to cook. So I'm sure, and they definitely have some great vegetarian dishes. So I'm sure that they could figure that out.
Okay, well, we'll tag them in this episode and say, hey, do this, please.
Yes, that way you can go and experience.
I really like Cafe Roze a lot. They do have vegetarian options that I've partaken in.
Yeah,
but if I could get a schnitzel,
with avocado and hummus, I mean, jeez, forget about it.
Forget about it.
Anyway, and then the smash burger, which is a classic.
Yeah.
Cafe Roze can you say something's been a classic when when a restaurant's only been around for a couple of years? Maybe, well, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. I think you can. They seem like they're pretty established and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, that is true.
I was kind of worried for them for a little bit because that zone that they're in, I worry about all those establishments.
Sure.
It's such a weird intersection. Yeah. It doesn't have a long history of things staying there for a long time.
Right.
Like where Vinyl Tap is now, that used to be a pretty infamous restaurant that serves shepherd's pie. There was nothing else around it. And it's just... I worry for all those restaurants, but I think East Nashville's grown up enough where it is supporting all those things.
Oh yeah, I think so.
But there's one parking lot still gives me pause.
The Eastside.
Well, it looks like no. Right there by Cafe Roze and Vinyl Tap and the brewery, in that four corners, there's just like a parking lot. It looks like it used to be a service station.
Well, do you know what's going there now?
Oh, something's going in?
Yes.
No, tell me.
A toy store.
What?
A toy store.
Wild.
The guy that runs Green Fleet Bikes on Shelby Street Bikes is opening up a toy store there.
That is the last thing I would have guessed to go in there.
No, but I'm looking forward to it. I have to say, it takes some balls to open up a toy store.
It does.
You would think another bar might be sustainable, or some other, I don't know. Well, restaurants, not so good this year. But, how many toy stores are around? And maybe he's cornering the market. I don't know.
I can think of one, Phillips, and that's way out in Belmead.
I don't know what that is.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Been around for a long time.
Yeah, sure.
But it's deep Belmead. Deep.
Oh, okay.
That's probably why you've never been there.
Yeah.
Man, we're going off way on a tangent here, but in Hillsborough Village, there's a really nice toy shop now.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Yeah, well, maybe they're filling the void that Toys R Us has left.
Yeah.
I don't know when it's happening, but it was announced several months back. Yeah, that will be some sort of toy shop.
I'm so sorry for the tangent here, but do you think there's any laws around proximity of a toy shop to Fran's?
I don't know, but we should talk to the councilman about that.
I mean, that is a stone's throw.
Quite possibly.
I mean, not to bars or anything. I'm not implying anything strange, but that's a funny dichotomy of like, a very dirty establishment, which I love.
Yeah,
and a toy store.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I think Fran's won.
Yeah, as it should have.
Dive bar, Eastside competition. Get back to the point. I think Cafe Roze is here to stay, so I think it's okay to call one of their very first menu items a classic. It's still around.
Agreed.
Kids love it. And well,
Do you mean that like your literal kids or like the kids?
No, my kids love it. My kids love it. So that's what we did for New Year's dinner, and it was great.
Yeah, love it.
So did you make it out to Roberta's?
I have not made it out to Roberta's. They're only there for like another week, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
We made it out last month, and you were correct that it is some amazing pizza. We loved it.
I'm very happy to hear that. And I'm glad it delivered.
They did not deliver. It did deliver. It delivered. There was some screw up. They do deliver, I should say. I mean, you can do DoorDash or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But I had to go and wait.
Good to know.
Yeah. I had to wait an hour, but I waited an hour. But yeah, you need to definitely go there before they're gone.
Yeah, I was trying to find the date real quick of when it leaves, but
it just said end of January. I don't know if it's.
What'd you get? Did you get the margarita? Did you get the little stinker?
I did get the margarita, and the other one I think I did get the little stinker, actually. Yeah, those were the two we got.
Excellent guess.
Yeah, and they were great. I mean, you never know with these renowned pizza places. You think it's the concrete slab or whatever with the wood fire stove that makes the pizza, and they're literally just outside in this. Looks like they made their own.
Oh wow!
It's this little brick oven pizza that's right on the outside. I mean, it's literally like almost on the street, and just a little pop up right there. But it was great. I mean, they obviously have their ingredients down and know what they're doing.
I think that's correct. They know what they're doing for sure. So for anyone who hasn't heard previous episodes, this is a pop-up of a Brooklyn pizzeria called Roberta's that is available at Urban Cowboy Public House. You can just pick up a pizza there. Sounds like you got to wait an hour, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Or if you can order DoorDash or something like that, then you don't have to wait. It's pretty standard, it seemed like, if you're going in there. I think maybe it's Wednesday through Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, if you just walk up, you're pretty much going to be waiting for a while, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You might be able to go into Urban Cowboy and have a good drink while you wait. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
So the other thing I was going to ask is we talked about Bahn Mi, Eastside Bahn Mi.
Uh-huh.
And I saw that they are doing a pop-up right now where they're having chefs do their favorite Bahn Mi sandwich.
Well, have not heard of this.
They're going to have a rotating list of chefs, and I think Sean Brock, who is, of course, one of the renowned chefs in town, and I'm trying to think of some of the others.
I saw a Nashville Scene headline the other day related to them that was talking about a fundraiser project for the Nashville Food Project.
Is this
related?
That's exactly what this is.
Oh.
So
it would probably help if I read more than the headline. But
the first chef is the chef from Lou.
Oh. You love Lou.
That I love Lou.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Lou last year.
Mm-hmm.
Thought it was great. So Malia Weger, I believe is her name.
Oh, okay.
And so her sandwich is a smoked kabocha squash banh mi.
What?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means, but I definitely will check it out. It's going on right now. Hopefully, it's still available when this episode pops.
Yeah, according to Instagram, we are recording this on the 19th. And Instagram says this is the last week to grab that one. So
oh wow,
we are
okay.
By the time you hear this, you need to immediately report to Eastside Bahn Mi to get this.
Yeah, totally. And then we have like Sean Brock from Audrey, Julia Sullivan from Henrietta Red, and Philip Krajek from Folk. Some of my favorite places.
Yeah.
So we'll probably be going there at least once a week for the next month or so.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds incredible. And it's like for a good cause too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Double bonus.
Yeah.
$1 from each sandwich sold will go directly to the Nashville Food Project to help alleviate hunger in our city.
Much needed.
Yeah, lovely.
Much needed. So we usually, in episodes past, have talked about openings and closings. And not many opening right now. There are some, but...
I disagree, but I know where you're going.
Okay, we can talk about that in a second.
Yep.
But we'll talk about one that is closing.
Yep.
And by the time this airs, it will have been closed. It will be closed, I believe. And, of course, that is Eastland Cafe.
Yeah.
And man, just so sad to hear about that.
This is one of your hotspots, one of your go-tos.
Yeah.
Right?
So we used, pre-COVID days, we had the opportunity once a month to have a parents' night out. Would last from like 4 to 8. We would always go to some happy hour place, and numerous times we would go to Eastland Cafe. I mean, just love it, Yeah. And it is really, really a bummer to hear that they are closing. I mean, they maybe have the best pickles in town.
Oh,
fried pickles.
We've covered this before.
I know.
Controversial.
It is controversial. Best fried. We'd fried pickles, the wings, the wedge salad. I mean, everything about it. So, I don't know where the owner and chefs will head after this, but hopefully they will stick around and have something new come
Do we
up.
know if this was totally COVID related?
It hasn't. They really haven't announced.
I saw the note that they put up on their door saying January 23rd was the final day. Total bummer. Absolutely agree. But I wasn't sure what the impetus behind it was, because they feel like one of those restaurants that has been around for a while that might just be simply fighting having been around for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm sure COVID
totally.
does not help that.
Totally. I mean, they've been around for 15 years. I mean, in that little area of Eastland, back then it was them and a Mexican restaurant. And I mean, it was nothing but dirt across the street. There was no Jenny's or anything for years and years, and they were around. And I think you're right. I think they had a loyal fan base or a loyal customer base.
Yeah.
But I will say the times that we went, it wasn't packed ever.
Right. Yeah.
But there was always, people there. It wasn't empty,
Right.
So I think they definitely have, or at least had, the loyal fan base there. And I think you're right that it probably is a combination of both. Just knowing how difficult, how small the margins are for these restaurants to make money and to survive. And then when you have the COVID come in and really decimate that, and it really just, makes it impossible.
Yeah, I was talking with a buddy that lives a couple blocks from there just the other day about this. And he was kind of excited because Eastland was never for him. So he was like, oh, something new will go in there that I'm excited about. But we kind of got into this conversation about how, like, if you are a restaurant, staying relevant for any amount of time is really difficult, because the whole way restaurants work is like you're always going for the new thing. I mean, this show is sort of about that. Like, here's the new thing to check out.
That is true.
And that's really difficult. Like, I thought that Bar 308 did a wonderful thing recently by rebranding to Camp. Like, everyone's been to Bar 308, like, know what the experience is. They did a great job establishing this, like, cocktail menu, and it kind of petered out a little bit.
Yeah.
And they're reinventing themselves. Now, they reinvented themselves during a pandemic, which I'm sure was not easy. And I don't even know if the new thing is super open yet. But I do think it's brilliant that they have this space that people know to go to, and they've just rebranded to do something different.
Realize that they need to do it.
They need to do it. I think that's the underscore that's really important. And, with Eastland, I went back and looked at their menu, and I'm sure they have specials every night, but it really doesn't change a ton, which is good and bad. Because if you love the place, you can go and you can get the cheese plate that's amazing. You can get the roasted broccoli that's amazing. But if Yeah, no. If you're a restaurant person, you might just tire of it.
I get what you're saying. And, you got to say, 15 years is a good run for a restaurant.
That's a very good run. Yeah.
So it's nothing to, sneeze at, but it's still, at the end of the day, I'm sure they probably wanted to stay open.
I'm sure they wanted to stay open for sure. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
You saw that Brown's Diner is closing.
Oh, yeah.
And
who knows how much, if they own that land.
But the guy was like, I did it for 48 years. I did it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like you did it.
You win the war.
15 years. Obviously if they went through economic strife, that's terrible. And I'm very empathetic. But also you have to celebrate that they were a really great restaurant for 15 years.
Yeah.
And that's
totally
not a small thing.
Yeah, no. Yeah, totally. So anyway, we wish everybody there the best. Hopefully they move on to good things. And
maybe they'll end up at Eastside Bahn Mi making like a special Bahn Mi sandwich.
That would be great. I wouldn't turn that down at all. So we'll see what, I'm sure something will go in there very quickly. It's prime real estate. And the restaurant's already set up. You wouldn't have to change much.
Sure.
To me, it seems like.
Yeah.
A new chef wants to come in and see what they can do in that space.
Well, hearty thanks to Eastland Cafe.
Yes.
You did a great service to the beginning of the Nashville restaurant scene.
Yeah, really did. Really, they were one of the first ones especially on this side of town, on the east side. Anyway, any other closings that you want to talk about?
Yeah, Eastland and Brown's. That's what I got.
Yeah, I did see that Brown's sold and that it closed. Any idea what's going to happen to it? I haven't seen.
No,
but I just read something that said we're going to keep the vibe, not the vibe, but I forget what the exact words were. We're going to not change it much, basically, which who knows what that means.
Who knows? Yeah, when you're famous for being a trailer, what can you do? If Santa's Pub renovated to be something slightly different, it loses a ton of its charm.
I think people would stop going there.
I don't know about that. I think people would still go, but part of it is that, that allure. So I think whoever's taking over it, if they're smart, it's like whoever took over Dino's forever ago, and everyone was all up in arms. Dino's was going to be this new fancy thing, and it was like, no, it's still kind of a dive.
Yeah, it didn't change hardly at all.
Yeah, still love it. Don't use the word dive as a pejorative.
Right,
it's a compliment.
Yeah, totally. So let's talk about a couple of places we've been to, or at least gotten to go food.
Well, before we get into places we've been to, I do want to call out really quick some openings, some things that I'm excited to try.
Yeah.
So Crying Wolf, you're familiar with that bar.
Mm-hmm.
They have reopened with a vegan-friendly menu.
Oh, wow.
So I believe it is available to go. And if it's not available to go, I'm going to say hold off and wait till it's available to go.
Well, don't they have a huge second floor deck up there?
I think they do, yes.
So,
for sure. So I'm really interested in trying
And they've been closed since the tornado. It's because of the damage that they sustained from the tornado. Yes. And that's why they have yet to open. So
yeah. So I'm excited for this. It's total bar food. But that's exciting to me.
Yeah.
Vegan-friendly bar food.
No, that's great.
There's a new Indian pop-up restaurant.
Really?
Called Zika. Also with some vegetarian and vegan-friendly offerings. I don't think it's anywhere. I think this is like
a true pop-up.
You go on Instagram, there's a phone number, you call it and order things and they'll get it to you.
Really?
Kind of underground. I think working towards something more established, but from what I can tell on the internet, that's the way it's set up right now. But like a tofu coconut masala curry, sweet potato tikka, I'm in.
That sounds awesome.
Those sound fantastic. And the pictures they look delicious. So
so you really have to just get them on Instagram. You have to request to follow them?
Their profile page on Instagram is just like, contact us, and here's a phone number.
All right.
Yeah. No link to order from DoorDash or anything like that.
There's no website?
There's no website linked, but I have friends who were posting in their Instagram stories like, oh, look at this Zika Nashville meal I just got. So they're definitely providing food in some way. I'm just not sure.
So you're telling me you call them, they say, we will deliver to you, or you come to this location and pick it up?
Couldn't tell you. I have no idea.
Do they have a red flag?
They might have the red flag, the infamous red flag in the yard.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like to me. It might be a delivery situation where they will bring it to you.
Interesting.
Or it might be like your favorite bread spot where they throw it at you, you know?
So do they have, I'm confused. So you call them and they send you a menu? So, I mean, because they don't have a menu posted on Instagram, right?
They do have a menu online for their pop-up restaurant. Just have to look on Instagram at the specific post, and it will tell you.
And you'll see it. Okay.
Yeah, this is the new way of the world, Matt. Just an Instagram account and a desire to work through the technology to get the food you want.
Well, hopefully they have everything up to code wherever they're cooking it.
Yeah. I mean, one would hope.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, that's what I'm...
Yeah.
We'll
so
breeze past
Zeka?
Zika.
Zika.
Yeah, I'll link the the Instagram account in the episode description, but it's the Zika Nashville _.
Okay.
If you're looking for it.
Cool.
So I haven't tried either of those yet, nor have I tried this third one, but I'm very excited about all three. There's a place called Cooper Branch that is vegan-based power food, which is a hysterical tagline to give. But I think this is actually a chain. There's like a bunch in Canada and up in the north, and they're opening one here on Church Street, really close to the library.
Oh, okay.
And man, it looks incredible. Like they have a bunch of bowls, which is a very popular thing for vegan-friendly places, but they have like a mushroom galaxy burger, a spicy black bean burger, a beet patty, all kinds of sandwiches, like a falafel wrap and a tempeh sandwich, like a huge long list, like a massive menu.
Just go back a second.
Yeah.
Did you say beet patty?
I did say beet patty. Have you ever had a beet patty?
I've never had a beet patty.
Oh, it's so good.
But I love beets.
Yeah, it's remarkable because, you know, when we have Beyond Meat and Impossible Burgers now, which really emulate real meat.
Right.
But what's fantastic about the beet burger is it oozes this redness that feels very meaty. It doesn't taste like meat. It tastes like a beet burger.
It doesn't.
But it just has this similar texture and it has this sort of similar look that kind of like evokes that feeling.
Is the beet like chopped or ground, or is it like
very patty-like? Yes.
But like ground patty?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That sounds. I mean, I love beets a lot.
Yeah.
Yellow beets by chance?
It's a red beet.
A red beet?
It's a red beet. Yeah. This beet patty comes with...
I'm going to have to get that.
Caramelized onions, guacamole, lettuce, Cape Cod kettle cooked chips, alfalfa sprouts, and the new copper sauce. I don't know what that is, but it's probably mayonnaise, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, it just, I'm really impressed by these restaurants that are opening up that are vegan friendly with massive menus.
Right.
You know, it's not like, here's our 3 items or here's a special substitute you can do. It's like,
and it does seem like not a lot, but a substantial amount have opened up in the last year or so.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really starting to finally pop up.
I agree.
Which is great for all you folk.
It is great for all us folk. And all you folk out there that want to try it out.
I'm not vegetarian or vegan, but I love it.
Yep.
I love vegetarian and vegan food.
So those are my coming soons that I'm really excited to try. You know, like future episodes, I always think like, oh God, where am I going to eat?
Yeah.
Because I'm such a creature of habit.
Well, I'm really glad that you gave those to me, because I didn't know about any of them. And I think I'll definitely at least go to one of those places before the next episode, hopefully.
Well, Cooper Branch won't open until February. So we'll talk about that in a future episode.
Where did you say that was?
That's on Church Street.
On Church Street.
601 Church Street.
All right. Oh, yeah. Like Commerce and Church, like right there.
Yeah.
So gotcha. Cool. All right. I wonder if that's where the subway used to be.
You know, I don't go downtown very often, but this will be worth.
It doesn't matter
going downtown. Yeah.
You gave us the address.
Yeah.
We can find it,
and I will get it delivered to me. That's what I'm guessing.
Even better.
Yeah. And that kind of brings us into our theme of today. We want to talk about to-go places that all of the places that we talk about right now, we want to be to-go friendly, but specifically we're going to touch on spots today that are very to-go oriented because you know, COVID numbers are spiking and it's not over yet. And just because the vaccine exists doesn't mean any of us are getting it yet.
No.
So we're going to be playing it safe.
At least until end of summer, I would think. And unfortunately, I mean, I don't want to be wearing a mask any longer than I have to, but I'm realistic and, you know, it is what it is. But we can only do what we can do and just be as safe as possible. But one thing you can do that is very easy is to go food.
Yes, super simple.
You know,
and kind of more convenient.
Yeah.
I think about this. I think about the trade-off. Like, you might have a burning desire to go sit in a restaurant and have someone make you a drink and bring you food. Is that worth getting insanely sick, possibly having long-term effects, and or possibly infecting your family?
You wouldn't think you have to ask that question, but
I'm saying if you find yourself just antsy to go sit inside a restaurant, maybe run that one through your head and be like, well, maybe not. I mean, we all roll the dice. We all take our own chances.
Yeah.
We're all adults, but, get your food to go. It's easy.
Yeah, very easy. You're still supporting the restaurant. That's all you can do.
Yep. That's all you can do.
So why don't you talk about one place?
All right. Real quick, I've mentioned this place multiple times on multiple previous episodes, but I'm going to give it its full due now, is the BeHive Vegan Deli. So that is on Gallatin Road, 2414 Gallatin Avenue. It's right next to this place called Hale Dark Aesthetic. It's right in front of the East Room. It is the world's worst parking lot.
Yeah.
It's awful.
It's like boomerang shaped, and
no spot is good.
Yeah, right.
Every single parking spot, you are in danger of hitting another car. It's angled in all the worst ways. But this is an establishment that is really bringing a lot of plant-based alternatives throughout the city. Like, they mass produce this stuff and distribute it to grocery stores, distribute it to other restaurants. They have their own little grocery store inside. All that stuff is closed right now, the interior of it, but they still are operating where you can order to go. You can order from their website, and you can still order food from their deli. And the deli is awesome. It's so accessible food. They're not making stuff that's over the top or strange to people that aren't familiar with eating vegan food.
So that's what I was going to ask. Is it strictly vegan or is it vegetarian?
I think it's strictly vegan.
Yeah.
I think that lots of tofu, seitan, and other meat substitutes. But like I said, the accessibility is sort of their number one goal. And they have a buffalo chicken Philly sandwich, a roast beef and cheddar sandwich, an Italian sandwich.
Right.
All of which are fantastic. But the real piece de resistance is the Crunchwrap, which they also serve at Rosemary and Beauty Queen, one of my favorite bars.
What is that?
The Crunchwrap is a large flour tortilla with a tostada inside of it. And then the edges of the tortilla are kind of rolled over the top. So you get this disc shape. It's filled with fake meat and lettuce and tomato and all kinds of fun vegetables and maybe a little fake cheese in there. But it looks like this disc covered in a toasted tortilla, and you bite into it, and it's got a nice crunch to it.
So you got the flour on the outside and the corn tostada in the middle?
I don't know if the tostada is corn or not. Maybe. But it is crunchy.
Yeah.
And it's just delightful. It is such a fun, textured experience. It is an extremely tasty experience as well. I can't recommend it enough. I've eaten so many of them. And
really?
Yeah. You can cut them in half and share them with a friend. You can be gluttonous and eat the whole thing. It's a marvelous little piece of food offered by BeHive.
Sounds like an original sort of food item that you can't get anywhere else.
I don't know that they came up with it. Taco Bell has a thing called the Crunchwrap.
Oh, it does.
I don't know if you've heard of this restaurant called Taco Bell.
I've not been to Taco Bell in probably 15 years.
Well, so there's a thing at Taco Bell called the Crunchwrap Supreme.
Okay.
And it is a large flour tortilla with a tostada in the middle.
Okay.
So they're
can't say that they came up with the design.
Can't say that they came up with that, but I can say that they perfected it because they've made it accessible to all.
Yeah.
And it's
and
fantastic.
I'm sure it will not do what Taco Bell did to my stomach, and that's why I've not been to Taco Bell in 15 years.
It will not do that.
Good.
So
excellent.
Beyond the Crunchwrap, they sell Topochico, which I'm a big fan of.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful little beverage.
Yeah.
They have a variety of tots, tater tots. Now, you wouldn't think to get a Crunchwrap with tater tots, but you should consider it because it's extremely good.
Oh, yeah. No, I love tots.
There's never a bad pairing with tots. much like the pumpkin seed.
Right.
The tot is always an improvement.
Classic.
They have some fake fried chicken stuff, like hot chicken stuff. That's not my bag, so I don't really partake.
Yeah.
But I will say, being mindful of to-go, ordering online is super easy. You can drive right up to the awkward parking lot. They've got a window. They just set your order out. You don't talk to anybody. Like, there's no human interaction. It's great. It's really convenient. It's really fast. Like, I'll be running an errand on the east side, pull up the order, and 8 minutes later, it's ready to go. So I put that on my list of to-go spots to consider for future enjoyment. Get yourself a Crunchwrap.
Yeah, I'll have to get that. That's not too far away. So I haven't yet to get that from there.
Okay. What do you got?
So I have one. I was planning on doing a full episode, maybe, even though I know you couldn't really participate in barbecue restaurants. And there are a couple of new ones that have popped up in the East Nashville area, and a couple specifically on Gallatin Road that I was going to try to review all at the same time, but haven't made it to all of them yet. So I am going to talk about one of them, though.
A little teaser.
Yeah. So,
and I might not be able to eat at a barbecue restaurant, but if the conditions are right, the sides are a real treat.
Yeah, definitely. So this particular one is called Toto's Barbecue Express.
What?
Yes. And I should say it leans more Latino.
Okay.
Barbecue.
What is that like?
So it's one of those places, you go down Nolensville Road and you see the restaurants that have the huge pits where they're cooking all the chicken. And so they're doing that. And so they have a lot of barbecue chicken every day. But they have a full menu. So you can get burger combos, pulled pork, brisket, and they have chicken sandwiches, all sorts of different catfish sandwich. Barbecue sandwich.
This is a huge menu.
It is huge. A lot of meat. I will say a lot of meat, but their charro beans, which I think charro actually does have a little bit of pork in it, are great. I decided to go ahead and just try the brisket burger, and it was amazing. It has 1/3 pound of ground beef, and then has smoked brisket on top of it, peppers, mayo, barbecue sauce, all together, slaw. And it was really, really, really good. I had that. I also thought whenever there are wings around, I gotta taste. I gotta try them. You know? So I had their hickory smoked wings because I knew they probably cooked them out on the big grill, and those were, just like they say, they were not dipped in really any sauce. Barbecue sauce. It was more of a very, very light kind of vinegar-based sauce. Really, really, really good wings. And then I had also the charro beans, which were great. So they do have. It's like right next to the Mapco on Gallatin Road, deep in Inglewood.
Yeah. I drove by that the other day.
Do you remember, like, Radio City Cafe briefly had this?
Yep.
It was right there.
Yeah, it's like really offset from the street.
Yeah. I believe a garage, car garage place right next to it, and it's set back. So they do have a restaurant, but you can't eat in it right now. It's takeout only. You can go inside and order, but you cannot sit down there.
Right.
I will say I noticed while I was waiting, and it was during lunchtime, that a lot of Latino folks came in and they were just getting chicken. The chicken dish, the chicken,
So you're taking that as a sign that's what you should have gotten.
Yes. No, the burger brisket was great. I liked it a lot.
Right.
But I think I will, follow the trend next time I go there and try the chicken, because obviously that seemed to be one of the most popular menu items.
With a menu that dense, it seems like you could go back a lot.
Yeah, you could. And they have, a decent kids menu, and, they do have some salads if you want. I think you might be a little limited being a vegetarian going there, but you can find some things. That being said, I'd like to try their hush puppies.
I just saw hush puppies on the menu here, and it caught my eye.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure they're good. So
yeah, pretty. I mean, they got mac and cheese too. I mean,
right. So you can.
I'm not going to go wrong.
You can totally do it.
Yeah.
So
I'll waste away to nothingness eating just hush puppies and mac and cheese, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah,
for sure.
So it was great. I highly recommend it. Reasonable pricing.
It's cool. It looks like it's on Seamless too. So getting it delivered seems possible.
Oh yeah, totally. So that was a great experience. I'll definitely. I've actually been there a couple times.
I really want to know the story behind the name.
Yeah,
it's a great name.
I don't know.
Toto's Barbecue Express.
Yeah.
Oh, what a delightful little logo it has too. With a little cute little pig.
Right.
Just ready to get killed and served up.
What a nice little looking pig.
So cute and ready to die.
I have no idea what's about to happen.
No. That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that.
I do have to say, I want to mention a couple of things. So we did go to, since we're talking about to go, there are some options if you do not want to take to go to a restaurant. And this is general, a couple places that we've discussed in the past.
Okay.
And we're talking about these places that have built some pods.
Oh.
So last month, my wife and I, we went to City House.
Okay.
And City House, and behind it has built this pod system. I don't know. Did you see that?
I haven't seen it, but I have a lot of question about the pods. So please continue.
So City House has a decent sized backyard area. And so they built, using, it is very, they didn't try to paint the wood or anything, but, using wood paneling, just built these pods. And there's probably, if I was to guess, 13 of them. You go in the behind City House, the little walkway takes you in the back, and it's covered sort of like with a tarp tent, I guess. And there are these wooden pods.
Okay.
And so the wooden pods have a curtain and a heating unit. So you go and walk down the path, and there's a pod on the right and then a pod on the left. You go to the next one. I mean, they're connected.
Right.
Like I said, there is a covering, but it's open at the top. Okay. So it's completely open. So it's not,
Okay.
So I felt comfortable because it felt like there was good ventilation.
Sure.
And I don't really need to talk about City House. We've talked about it ad nauseum at this point.
We're talking about pods right now.
Yeah, we're talking about pods. I will say the only problem, luckily when we went there, it was on an evening that was not very cold. It was, I'd say, maybe upper 50s. And that's another thing. COVID has changed. I mean, I hate the cold.
But you're willing to.
But I've become quite adaptable to putting up with it if it means I can hang out with friends outside and have a drink or go to a restaurant that has an outside pod. That being said, our pod, the heating unit did not work.
Ooh.
So it wasn't a big deal because it wasn't really that cold anyway.
Right.
But
it could have been.
Yeah. I mean, if it would have been in the 40s, it would have sucked.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So some people across from us in their pods, they had their curtains open so you could see in,
Right.
Some of them had closed. There was a pod across from us, it's kind of diagonal, that I could see the people left, but their heating unit was on. And I was just like,
oof.
Come on, can we go over there?
Yeah,
But we were halfway through the meal.
Rough.
They did. I think the fuse tripped or something because they spent like at least 5 minutes trying to fix our heating unit and they could not.
Right.
And it was fine. It by the end of the meal, it definitely was wearing my coat and it was a little breezy. I would have preferred to have the heating unit.
But had the heating unit been on, you would have had a pleasant time.
It would have been toasty.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I if it's 35 degrees outside, I don't know how well the heating unit, I would imagine still have to wear a coat while you're eating dinner.
Right.
And some people might be willing to do that. Others might not. I would imagine you'd want to dress warmly. So that is one place. The other place we talked about was El Fuego.
Yeah.
And I have not been there yet, but I actually talked to somebody who has been and had their pod experience. And they said that it's great. So I think their pod experience, I believe the pods are separated, whereas at City House are kind of all together, it's built as one long row.
Right.
And the pods at El Fuego are separated, by several feet. And there's a heating unit at the top, and so the heat comes down on you. Mm-hmm. And they said when they went, it was pretty cold, whatever day it was, and that it was extremely comfortable.
But how enclosed is that? That's my number one concern with any pod-based experience is the circulation. What you described at City House sounds like pretty open and breezy.
It is, yeah.
Which, from a circulation standpoint, kind of my preference.
Yeah.
Some of these restaurants that I've seen, and I understand the need to pivot in this way, are making small rooms, like little plastic Dexter rooms, Yeah, you heard me. I'm not into that. I don't want I don't want all the breathing to be kept inside. It needs to get out.
It needs to open. Yeah.
Right.
So I can't speak to how the circulation at the El Fuego place, but yeah, it does. It sort of seemed like it was a little more closed than the City House one. Yeah. So yeah, I know. I agree with you. I mean, you would think, so are you going to leave that open for 10 minutes between guests to help kind of get everything out? I would imagine that would be enough time to have some circulation if you're outside anyway. Yeah. But that means you have to be very comfortable with the people that you're dining with.
Yes, for sure.
Otherwise, what's the point?
Exactly. That is my question.
Right.
Yeah.
That being said, I mean, that's why I would only go with my wife probably somewhere.
Sure.
I probably wouldn't go.
Right. And in this case, it's a personal pod. So,
yes.
I went to 12 South Tap Room recently, which I love. I'm not saying anything bad about them. They have a really nice porch, really nice deck on the front that they've now enclosed with plastic.
Right.
I don't know if that's a winter thing or if it's a COVID thing or maybe both, but I'm not interested in sitting in a place with six other couples or families that I don't know anything about.
Yeah. No, that's the same thing. I saw that too at another restaurant that, Riverside, their outside is now completely enclosed in plastic. And I think they're doing that because of winter, you know, and just thinking like, well, people think that's a little bit safer, but it looks pretty closed up.
Right.
Whether it's wood or plastic, it's still enclosed.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we talked about it. These are the risks that you must take your own self. But as a show that's telling you places to go, I'm not going to tell you to go to those places.
Yeah. I will say I drove by Riverside the other day and, God bless them. There's a couple and it was nighttime and they've set up some tables and there's like a 1 or 2 parking spots right up front where they have now the heating unit and set up some tables. And I drove by and there was a couple. I mean, it was cold and they were like wrapped up.
Yeah.
Obviously needed to get out of the house.
Yeah.
Didn't want to go inside on the porch where the plastic was. And I was like, what is that guy holding? And he was holding, it looked like maybe a 1-year-old. It was, it was like totally like a ball wrapped up.
Oh, no.
I was like, I get that though. Because you got to get out of the house.
They do have a good pretzel bun. It's very good.
They do. And their beer cheese, I think I talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Quite a while back. The mix of, I think, Yazoo and Jackalope together. Anyway.
It's phenomenal.
It's great.
Yeah.
So may digressed a little bit, but
It's all right. Well, I have one more thing, but I'm going to skip it, and we're going to get into the final new feature of our show.
Okay, yeah.
Which is music recommendations. So anyone who didn't hear the last episode, we've started this new thing, which was actually started many, many, many episodes ago when Mickey was the co-host, Mickey Parks, who is now on WNXP. This show's called This Is the Place, which is a reference to Talking Heads. Matt and Mickey are huge music fans, like just consummate.
As obviously are you.
Yeah, I am as well, but I put the kibosh on making music recommendations because I wanted the show to be focused. And now I've decided I don't care about that focus, and music recommendations is fine. So I really hope that we can get Mickey back in here now that the radio station is kind of running smoothly, and he can finally participate in the music recommendations.
I think he's ready to come back. I actually talked to him recently about it, and I think he's
awesome.
kind of got his schedule kind of set a little bit more now, and he's I think going to find the time soon.
That's great because he's always been an incredible music fan with great recommendations, but now he's working for WNXP, and he's just going to have even more to recommend.
Totally. Yeah, he's immersed in it now. It's great. So do you want to go first, or I'll go?
You go first.
Okay. I'm going to mention two things. One thing really quick. One of the actually bands that I mentioned in these first couple of episodes when we first started the podcast was a band that I saw at the Pickin' Party a couple years back. You know, the Eastside Pickin' Party that happens in the summertime. I could not remember the name of the band that I mentioned in the first or second episode that I saw at the Pickin' Party a couple years back. And I was going through my notes and I saw the band name. And I just wanted to mention Cicada Rhythm was the band that I saw from Athens. They're still around. They were just doing some sort of benefit down in Athens for, I think, some sort of food bank themselves. But a very kind of old-timey, something I wouldn't normally go to, not my go-to type music, but they were great. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that real
at
quick.
a thing called Pickin' Party they should be old-timey.
Yes, yeah.
Great.
But beyond them, the main artist I wanted to talk about is somebody you probably know of. Do you know who Blake Mills is?
The name sounds really familiar, but I don't know any music from that person.
He's this Svengali guitarist who people
not a term you hear too much.
Eric Clapton says Blake Mills is the best guitarist in the world now, sort of thing. And he's a producer, so he produced Brittany Howard, not her solo record, but her band.
The Alabama Shakes?
Alabama Shakes. He produced their second record.
Okay.
And he produced the last couple Perfume Genius records.
Oh, wow. Those are wildly different.
And and he's just all over the place in what he does musically, but he's known as a guitarist. And he's put out a couple solo records in the last 7 or 8 years. He was originally, have you heard of the band Dawes?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he was ever in that band, but him and the main guy in Dawes were friends and had a band in high school together, I think.
Okay, interesting.
So he put out a solo record last year, right in the middle of the pandemic in March, called Mutable Set.
Mutable Set.
Mutable, yes. Yeah. And it is just beautiful. I don't have a lot of, I'm not going to reference any food with it or anything like that, but it definitely kind of has this, at some points in it, you can hear a little bit of Elliott Smith or kind of Nick Drake.
Okay.
But then you hear these weird Eno things underneath it sometimes.
Oh.
And it's just really interesting. It's not typical singer-songwriter fare. And that record just surprised me. Again, I think I came across it on Bandcamp.
Sure.
And I'd heard the name, and I looked him up. I was like, oh, okay, he's produced these things. This sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
I will listen to it. And it's awesome. I go back to it quite often. And it is, again, one of my probably favorite records of this past year.
So pretty low key.
Very low key. Yeah. Hushed in some parts.
Yeah. When I hear Svengali guitarist that Eric Clapton loves, I don't always go in that vibe.
Right. Yeah. So you wouldn't think.
That's very cool to hear.
And he actually, he did a couple years ago. He did an all instrumental record called Look.
Okay.
And it's an EP, I think, 4 tracks, and it sounds like, it's an ambient record.
I'm in.
And I think he completely did it all on guitar for the most part, but it sounds like it's almost all keyboards.
Huh.
And I can't. You're not much of a science fiction guy, are you? Or do you? Maybe
the genre? Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Big fan.
Did you see the new Blade Runner?
Yes, 2049.
2049. There are elements of the music from that remind me of this instrumental record that he did.
Oh, okay.
Very kind of minor chord,
sure.
Creepy in some parts, but then all of a sudden turns to be very beautiful.
Yeah, interesting.
So anyway, I'm kind of more talking about a couple of his records than just the one. But
what's your entry point? If as a listener,
I would say Mutable Set.
Start with Mutable Set.
Yeah.
And then work your way into Look.
Yeah.
And then everything else.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, definitely.
Huh. I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to start with Look.
Okay.
Because you said it sounds like Blade Runner 2049. So I'm kind of hooked.
Okay.
That sounds amazing. You also said Nick Drake meets Eno, which is like, you couldn't ask for a better review, I don't think.
Yeah.
That's a nice...
Yeah. It's very easy to listen to in a weird way and comfortable, but so many cool little things going on.
Huh.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, I will check that out and link it in the episode description for anyone who wants to check that out along with me. My recommendation is a local band that I think you have seen, possibly on accident.
Okay.
They are called Styrofoam Winos, and they are a 3-piece improvisational group. I think you saw them at the sake place over in Pie Town one time. I have a vague memory of you telling me that you saw some interesting improvisational acts, and I think they were on that bill that same week. Like the Robe played, and maybe someone else. I don't remember who. But I think Styrofoam Winos was on. Anyway, the point being, Styrofoam Winos, generally known as a 3-piece improvisational group, which doesn't necessarily do anything for me necessarily. The improv could be very good or very bad.
Right.
But they have a new album coming out, self-titled. It's not out yet. Comes out February 12th on Sophomore Lounge Records. But the first single is out. It's called Stuck in a Museum. And it is the opposite of what you would expect from an improv group. Like, this is tight. This is just delightful indie rock. It's got a kind of a weird, quirky bend to it.
So improv indie rock group.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not jazz.
I thought I would just assumed it meant some sort of jazz inflected.
I'm going to make the most lazy music journalist statement I can make.
Okay.
But I stand behind it.
All right.
Much like the Pumpkin Seeds, I stand behind this.
Okay.
I think this band is Nashville's Yola Tango.
Really?
And if you know Yola Tango, you know that there's a lot of improv. They're feeding off of each other. They're like fleshing out these songs on the fly a lot of times. But there's a structure. There are lyrics. There are, pieces of each of these songs. It's not just like someone starts playing a rhythm and then someone builds on top of that.
Right.
They have songs.
Oh, yeah. They totally have it laid out.
I'm calling Styrofoam Winos Nashville's Yola Tango.
So do you say that just in kind of style but not substance, or even like you can see them as an influence?
I could definitely see them as an influence. Yola Tango for like the past 10 years at least has been kind of quiet and hushed.
Yeah.
This song in particular, Stuck in a Museum, has more energy than that.
Okay.
But Yola Tango can crank it up when they want to.
Yeah, well, that's what they're known for. I mean, they always usually crank it up at some point, but then they bring it, especially like you said, of recent, definitely a lot more chill, I would say.
Yeah, so I'm standing by this grandiose statement, which is...
I like it. That's...
I admit it's lazy music journalism. It's going to set your expectations to a place where you're going to be disappointed because you can't hear words like that.
But it definitely piques my interest.
But it piques your interest, and I stand by it.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
Styrofoam
That's awesome.
Winos.
So Bandcamp, obviously?
Bandcamp, for sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Will be linked in the episode details.
All right. Well,
that's all I got.
I got some homework to do.
Me too.
I cannot wait. I'm looking forward to eating some good vegan food, I think, and hopefully listen to some incredible new music that I'm not aware, or I've just became aware of, and will listen to very soon.
I'm interested into getting into some pods. Some safe pods.
Yeah, tell me what you think.
Maybe eating some side item mac and cheese and hush puppies from Toto's Express.
Well, if you want to continue your research with the pumpkin seed, Cafe Roze.
Cafe Roze. Will do.
Avocado and hummus. All right, that will wrap it up for now. So remember, eat up, drink up, and if anyone asks, this is the place to be. See you next time.
Bye.